Justin Trudeau making a surprise visit stateside, meeting with President-elect Trump after his strongly worded tariff threats.
Overnight, we saw the Canadian Prime Minister make his way down here to West Palm Beach for a surprise visit to Mar-a-Lago, where to talk just about tariffs.
Prime Minister, was it a productive meeting with President-elect?
It was an excellent conversation.
A photo posted by Senator-elect Dave McCormick of Pennsylvania shows Trudeau next to Trump, also at the table, Trump's nominee for the Interior Department and his incoming national security advisor. Now, neither the Trump transition team nor Trudeau's office let the media know what was happening or that he'd even be coming. People around West Palm Beach have been taking cell phone videos of the surprise guest because the first indication last night that we got something was up when we noticed a Royal Canadian Air Force VIP jet was making its way from Ottawa to South Florida.
Fox's Mark Meredith in West Palm Beach. The president-elect also had a recent phone call with the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum. She is also critical of that tariff plan. Despite a ceasefire deal taking effect between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, there are no signs yet of a ceasefire in Gaza.
Hamas has just released a new proof-of-life video showing an American citizen, 19-year-old Idan Alexander, a member of the Israeli military's Golani Brigade. He is from New Jersey, and the video appears to be relatively new because he says he's been held captive for over 420 days. Alexander says that he wants President-elect Trump, not President Biden, but President-elect Trump to help secure his release. Of course, President Biden spoke about the ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah. Now, it's notable the ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah expires when Biden leaves office.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson covering the first family in Nantucket, Massachusetts. America's listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
In California.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The never-ending search to save a buck. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending this hour. You might be doing a lot of online shopping like this woman.
My brother's birthday's on Monday, so I figured I'd take advantage of some of the deals. I know I'm going to get my brother a pair of Timberlands, so I'm hoping something there. And then Cyber Monday, I'm going to get my mom and my aunt some Stanleys for Christmas. I'm hoping there's some deals on Amazon.
Another woman said she liked looking for deals online because there was a lot of them. You may have seen the Scaffold team working on the War Memorial in downtown Indianapolis. Jake McDaniel reports on what's going on.
The War Memorial's roof has a leak which caused damage. It underwent repairs in 2020. Executive Director of the Indiana War Memorials Commission, General Stuart Goodwin, tells Wish TV.
It's a plaster ceiling. When the water came through, caused the plaster to become loose and it discolored it.
He says now that the roof is sealed, repairs to the indoor damage can start.
Colts quarterback Andrew Luck has rejoined his alma mater, Stanford University, as the program's general manager. The 5-7 Indianapolis Colts have several players out for Sunday's upcoming game with the New England Patriots. They're dealing with various injuries, and one of them has a personal matter to attend to. Colts head coach Shane Steichen said Friday he's not losing faith.
A ton of confidence in these guys. This league, obviously, it's next man up, and we got a lot of confidence in whoever's out there that we go out and perform at a high level.
And the kickoff in Foxborough Sunday is at 1 o'clock. I'm on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Now here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Temperatures chilly for today, highs only into the lower 30s, wind chill values in the 20s. Tonight, spotty flurries, low temperatures in the lower 20s and upper teens. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joyce House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Removing tripping hazards such as rugs and floor clutter is one way to prevent or minimize falls around the home. Another is to position grab bars in the restroom and other common areas where your loved one may need some extra support. Contact your local area agency on aging to inquire about low-cost or free installation services. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment. And this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. We're thrilled you're with us here at WIBC. We're starting, obviously, the holiday season. Just had Thanksgiving. Yesterday, Black Friday, as it's referred to, a lot of people shopping. We're going into the holiday season. It occurs to me there are a number of firearms-related issues and questions people have that pop up around the holidays, and I've addressed perhaps some of these briefly here on the show, but not most. And so I really want to visit on a few of these issues. And so some people were asking me about a couple of these when I sat in for Jason Hammer on the Hammer and Nigel show here this week. I was in here Monday and Tuesday with Nigel, and whenever I sub for one of those guys, which is fairly often, we always have a segment called Ask the Gun Guy. And it's kind of like the whole 2-hour show, typically 2 hours, that I have here on Saturdays where our phone lines are open. Well, for that segment or two, usually it's a couple of segments, we open the phone lines. People call in with questions. And a couple of people, we're right at the end of a segment, were asking me some things that I just didn't have enough time to go into. And by the way, if you were one of those folks and either got left on hold, we didn't have time to get to you, or I didn't have time to really adequately address your questions, give us a call here tonight. Throughout the show, we'll be taking your calls, 317-239-9393. But before we go into all of that, I really want to give a shout out to a lot of friends I have, a lot of folks that I know, at least through their online presence at IndianaGunOwners.com. If you haven't been here to this forum, this is something you really should check out. It's IN for Indiana, INGunOwners.com. It's an online forum, which is just exactly what it sounds like. It's for Indiana gun owners. And there are a whole variety of topics and different threads, different sections you can go to. One that I was very active in for quite some time was legislating the Second Amendment. Obviously, I'm very active over at the legislature, and there's a lot to talk about. But there are several others that are really interesting. Things like carry issues in self-defense, tactics in training, where people will post training classes, general firearms discussion. And in fact, it was kind of interesting. I was at work yesterday. We had my son and I are working on a couple of projects. We have a brief due on Monday, so it's been quite a bit of time in the office this weekend. But I was in there, and I kind of was taking a break, just kind of a mental health break there, and found myself back at Indiana Gun Owners. And I used to be very active on this thread, and I've kind of gotten away from it for no particular reason. maybe it was a little bit of a time drain because I'd get going on there because it's so many of the different issues that people post about on there I either have an interest in or some knowledge about that I'd want to share. But I found the thread where I actually announced that there was going to be a Gun Guy show. And this was a thread that I started in June of 2015. And I was announcing that in July of 2015, there was going to be this new show on WIBC called The Gun Guy Show. And it kind of boggles my mind that here in July of this next year, we're going to hit the 10-year anniversary of The Gun Guy Show. I don't think anybody foresaw that that we'd be around this long. But it was really kind of interesting. And Indiana gun owners, and listen, there's no commercial relationship here. They're not paying me to endorse the site or anything like that. But they're a big reason that forum, Indiana gun owners, is I think they're a big reason there even is a Gun Guy show. And that's because I had been interviewed several times before we started the show in July 2015. I'd been interviewed several times by different hosts, Chicks on the Right. Like a lot of people, I miss the Chicks. They had the midday show, and they were delightful, and they, even as delightful in person as they were on the air. Tony Katz had interviewed me. I'd been interviewed by the news department here about some gun-related issues, where there was a gun crime or a mass shooting or whatnot, and they would interview me, and I do a lot of that media type stuff still to this day. But then one of the hosts had me coming in on a weekend and kind of fill in, and they had like an hour-long segment they called Ask the Gun Lawyer. And I sat here for an hour and just answered the phone and answered people's questions that they had about gun laws or training or any number of other issues and all the kind of things we get into here on the show. And I did that a couple of times, and I got the idea that, Mal, wouldn't it be cool if I could have my own show on a weekend? Because obviously I got a full-time job during the week and doing firearms training as well. Don't really have a whole lot of extra time, but it'd be cool to come in for, a couple of hours perhaps. And so I went out actually on Indiana gun owners, and I said, hey, if you'd be interested in having a weekly show where we get into gun rights and gun-related issues and what's going on in the legislature and all the kinds of things that, that I was already neck deep in, hey, let the folks at WIBC know. And I actually gave the program director's contact information. And a whole bunch of people really motivated right there from INGO. It's kind of the nickname for IndianaGunOwners.com. We call it INGO, I-N-G-O. And a whole bunch of folks from INGO contacted WIBC and said, yes, gun owners deserve a show. Gun owners deserve to have a presence there on WIBC. And lo and behold, it wasn't a month later, I got a call from the program director and wanted to have coffee. And voila, here we are with the Gun Guy show coming up here in 6-7 months or so. We're going to come up on our 10-year anniversary. So at any rate, I just wanted to give those folks a shout out. And encourage people to go and join, check out the forum. And listen, it's like any online forum. You may run across a knucklehead here or there, but relatively few, certainly dramatically fewer that you do in general social media, for instance. And since it's a site specifically designed for gun owners, you'd have to describe it as gun friendly. And what a refreshing change that is. Coming over, hell, I've told you ad nauseum about getting kicked off Facebook and having to start a new account. And I'm a little cautious even on Twitter, although it seems to be a lot less censorship over there and potential of getting booted. In fact, one of my good friends, Ken Campbell, the CEO of Gunsight, I think the premier training facility in the world, just posted on Facebook that they shut down his page, or they sanctioned him or suspended him or whatever we call that, being in Facebook jail, because he was talking about some event going on at Gunsight, and they did the same thing to him they did to me. It was, oh, you're trying to sell guns on Facebook. It violates our rules. Just like me, he never tried to sell a gun. So at any rate, some of the ridiculousness and the incredible anti-gun venom that we run into out there generally in social media. It's kind of refreshing to be on a forum like INGO and be there with fellow gun owners and share a lot of important information. Like I said, just really great topics. There's general political discussion, legislating the Second Amendment, which I mentioned, the shooting sports. I got into competitive sporting clays here not long ago, tactics and training, which I mentioned, carry issues in self-defense, accessories and gear, ammunition and reloading, gunsmithing, Class 3 or NFA stuff, just on and on and on. If you're interested in something gun-related, there's something for you on there. So that is an unsolicited, unpaid pitch, but I wanted to give a shout-out to my friends at INGO, and if you're a listener here of the Gun Guy Show, I'm sure you'd enjoy participating on that forum. We're at the quarter hour. We're going to take a break. We do want to take your calls, 317-239-9393. And by the way, we've got a little bit of an abbreviated show here tonight. The IHSAA football playoffs are continuing here today, and starting at 6, WIBC is going to cover the high school football playoffs. And so I've just got a show from 5 to 6. I was thrilled to be here for the hour, but they're going to boot me out of here at 6 o'clock so WIBC can cover the high school playoffs. A cool tradition. As somebody who played in the high school football playoffs way back in the day, and actually was a state runner-up when I played for Carmel, got beat by Valparaiso. The season of 1975, I'm dating myself there, got beat 14-13 in the state championship game. I'm still a little bitter about that. But at any rate, I have some history there, and so I always want to support high school sports and high school football in particular. Both my sons played football at Carmel, so it's a neat deal. So IHSAA, stick around if you're interested in listening to the playoffs. That will start at 6 o'clock. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
High temperatures below our average low. A bit unusual for this time of year.
93 WIBC.
Wind chill values will make it feel like it's 10 to 15 degrees.
Hear the news.
Losses for the IU men in the Battle for Atlantis tournament.
Another news update is minutes away.
Retailers hope we do a lot of buying. The next 3.5 weeks, we have to make up for a lot of lost time.
2/3 of them in stores. Russia's defense minister's in North Korea for talks.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Guy Relford for Indiana Gun Club. Indiana Gun Club is Indiana's premier shotgun club. They've got trap, skeet, sporting clays, and 5-stand. Great place to learn how to shoot trap, skeet, or sporting clays. It's where I learned how to shoot sporting clays not so long ago. They got private lessons available. They've also got a tremendous clubhouse with a tremendous firearm selection, and not just shotguns. I just bought a rifle there recently. I've bought some of my nicest handguns there. We're talking about Wilson Combat and Ed Brown, and some of the nicest handguns you're going to find anywhere, and rifles as well. I just bought a Christensen 6.5 Creedmoor AR-15 style rifle, actually AR-10 style rifle out there. That's absolutely beautiful as well. They've got a great selection. They've got ammo. And a great place to shoot as well. If you're into the shotgun sports, you can go and exercise that. They also, they're a little past their event season, but they'll schedule your private event. If you want to schedule something for the spring, whether it's a corporate team building exercise, a fundraiser, a political fundraiser, a charitable fundraiser, whatever it might be, your corporate event, get your company together, go out there and shoot around a sporting clays. It's a tremendous bonding experience, great way to team build as well. Check out my friends at Indiana Gun Club. It's Indiana Gun Club, located in Fortville, easily accessible from Indy. It's IndianaGunClub.com.
Ooh, we got a question. Brian W. asks, it's the holiday season and I'm looking for deals. Is Xfinity having a Black Friday sale?
Well, Brian, our best deals of the year are here. Get iPhone 16 Pro on us. Just ask us how. Plus, you can also get fast, reliable Xfinity internet with a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited for a great low price.
So don't wait. Bring home a new iPhone 16 Pro built for Apple Intelligence.
And connect to reliable 5G and Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig on Xfinity Mobile.
That's a big deal.
More like a gig deal.
Now through December 3rd, ask how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us with an unlimited Plus line. Plus, get 300 megabit Xfinity internet and an unlimited mobile line together for only $35 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Go to Xfinity.com/Black Friday sale to learn more. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing or auto pay with your bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. Gig speeds available via hotspots to Xfinity Mobile customers only. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Actual internet speeds and data thresholds may vary.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles, the best warranty around. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Shop drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Choose from over 2,000 Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes and models. Certified luxury, even the hard-to-find ones. No matter where your plans take you, spread cheer all season long, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show next Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We know to contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before every dig. But did you know spraying a white line around your digging area means utility flags will be placed only in that area? Fewer flags in the yard? Easier mowing? Everybody wins.
Except for my kid.
I don't want to mow the yard.
Contact Indiana 811 and white line before every project. It's the only way to dig. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com.
Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
She's too special for just an average gift. See Pierce Jewelers for the breathtaking sparkle in their rare, one-of-a-kind, fancy colored diamond collection. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers. Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. So a big question that comes up, and I haven't talked about this a lot here on the show, but around the holidays, people will ask me, a lot of times I'll get calls or emails at the office, can I gift a firearm to someone? And if you just go out there on the internet, first of all, don't ever ask legal questions on the internet. There, especially in the gun-related area, there is so much bad information out there. I get frustrated, and a lot of times I try to correct it when I see it out there on social media and otherwise. You have people that will state things with absolute certainty that have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. And it's stuff that can get you put in jail. I've had people prosecuted because they simply misunderstood the law. A client who misunderstood what constitutional carry meant. A client who believed what he read on the internet, which was that nonviolent felons can possess a firearm in Indiana. No, that's not true. And there's just so much crap out there. It's dangerous. But if you got and would ask the question, can I gift a firearm? I want to buy my wife, or I want to buy my 19-year-old son a firearm for Christmas. Is that legal? And a lot of people say, oh no, that's a straw purchase. You can't buy a gun for someone else. And so let's talk about that. First of all, it is legal. The limitation is that you have to be purchasing the firearm with your own money. It's truly a gift. If somebody gives you money or something else of value and say, hey, do me a favor and go pick up that gun for me, well, that's a straw purchase. It's a straw purchase even if they're legal to buy their own gun. If they give you money, if they give you $600, $700 and say, hey, go pick up that Glock 19 that they have at Pinnacle Firearms in Carmel, And you say, sure, I'm going that way. I'll save you a trip. And you go by there and you fill the form out, the 4473. And one of the first questions that you have to answer is, are you the actual transferee of the firearm? Well, if you're buying the gun with somebody else's money, then you're not the actual transferee. And that's a straw purchase. And when you check yes, if you check no, I'm buying it for somebody else, you're not going to get the gun. Because the actual transferee has to be the one there filling out the form, going through the background check. If you check yes, and that's a lie because you're using somebody else's money with the intent to give them their gun that you're simply buying, then that's a straw purchase and it's illegal. If you do that on behalf of someone who cannot buy their own gun, that's a violation of both state and federal law. But if you're using your own money and you're buying a gun for someone else who is eligible to buy their own gun, in other words, they're not a prohibited possessor, then you can buy that gun as a gift. I have bought my wife, for instance, a handgun. A couple of Christmases ago, bought my wife a handgun. And I'm lucky enough to be married to someone who thinks that's romantic, to get a gun for Christmas. You can see why we're happily married. And I can say that and say it on the radio because it's absolutely legal. Well, now, what if the person isn't 21? Because the law, the federal law says you have to be 21 to purchase a handgun. That's what federal law says. To buy a gun from a dealer, an FFL, a federal firearms licensee, you got to be 21 years old, which is a little bit ridiculous. Here in Indiana, for instance, you only have to be 18 to get your license to carry a handgun or to carry lawfully under constitutional carry. But under federal law, you can't buy a handgun yourself in the gun store until you're 21. So if an 18 to 20-year-old is legal to have a license to carry, legal to carry under constitutional carry, but they can't go into a gun store and buy a gun, how do they obtain a gun? Well, they can buy one from a private individual, and they can also be gifted one by a parent, for instance. And Indiana law says it's illegal to transfer a handgun. It says either to someone under 18 that you are not the parent or guardian of, but it's illegal to transfer a gun to someone who's not at least 18. And it also, there's separate law says it's illegal to transfer a gun to someone who's ineligible to buy their own, in this case, handgun from a dealer. But the Indiana statute says for reasons other than age. So you put that all together, that means I can buy my 18, 19, 20-year-old son or daughter a handgun as a Christmas present, as a present any time of year. I can do that, and I can do that legally. And there's a lot of confusion about that. A lot of people will tell you that's not so. It absolutely is. And you can also check yes to that question, are you the actual transferee? Because you're buying the gun. Yes, you're buying it as a gift, but you're buying it with your own money. Again, very important. Somebody else gives you the money to buy the gun or something else of value in order for you to go buy that gun on their behalf. That's not what I'm talking about. That's illegal. But you spend your own money and you buy that gun, you can check yes, I'm the actual transferee, and you can gift that firearm. Even though a person, for instance, is not 21 and can't buy their own handgun in this case from a dealer. That is legal, totally okay. Now, what if you want to buy a gun for someone out of state? Can you go in, buy the gun as a present for your son or daughter who, well, I have a daughter that lives in Florida. Can I go buy the gun for my daughter who lives in Florida, and she's well over 21, and she's a legal gun owner herself, and then take it home, take it to the office, throw it in a FedEx envelope, and ship it to her? Send it to her directly. No, can't do that. It has to go through an FFL since she's in another state. I can't transfer guns across state lines, but I can send it to an FFL, to a federal firearms licensee, a gun shop where she lives. She goes in, she fills out the 4473 form, the ATF form, there at the gun shop near her house in Florida, picks up the gun, we're good to go. It was totally legal for me to buy that for her as a present, totally legal to ship it to a gun shop, totally legal for her to go in, pass the background check, and pick it up. So those are some of the rules. If you got questions about any of this or about anything else gun-related, give us a call, 317-239-9393, 317-239-9393. Got a question on Twitter, and here at the bottom of the hour, need to go into a break, but I'll tease the subject a little bit. Somebody posted and said, all right, during the holidays, a lot of people want to enjoy a little holiday cheer in the form of alcoholic beverages, especially at home around holidays. What if you've had a bit too much to drink, you're legally intoxicated, and somebody breaks into your house? Have you now lost your ability to defend your home, defend your family, defend yourself because you're intoxicated? Interesting question, something I've never addressed here on the show, I don't believe. And we'll go into that here after the break. Give us a call, 317-239-9393, whatever your questions might be, especially here around the holidays, 317-239-9393. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Ah, the colors of fall. Orange.
Orange cone zone. Orange cones all over the place. This time on the north side.
Orange.
Orange barrels are up, restricting the far left lane and then switching to the right lane.
And orange.
Orange, you glad that I didn't say orange again? That's a little traffic humor.
When the colors of fall have you seen red, orange.
If I never see orange again.
Turn to Matt Baird Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Lovebirds, you're in for a treat. With your holiday proposal just around the corner, Shane Company is here to help you create your dream engagement ring. This is your moment. Let's make it magical. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've helped tons of couples find a beautiful engagement ring for a price that works with their budget. We've always sourced diamonds directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. At Shane Company, we have the widest selection of ring settings and center stones, in stock and ready to compare side by side. It's so easy. Choose a look that brings your vision to life. From classic styles to modern designs, we have them all. Then pick out a natural or lab-grown diamond, a sapphire in your favorite color, or a vibrant gemstone like ruby or amethyst. With our everyday competitive prices and free lifetime warranty, your forever after is safe with us. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. We've got your dream ring and fine jewelry gifts for everyone on your list. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's not too late to score on Pacers Gold Friday deals.
Halliburton
to the basket and dunks it. More games, more deals. Get your tickets before they're gone.
McConnell takes the lane and gives it to Turner, who with tremendous force slams it with a right hand.
Pacers Gold Friday, presented by KeyBank, continues through Monday night. Tickets start at just $5 and are limited. So get your tickets at Pacers.com/Gold Friday. That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
Fox News, I'm Jane Fergus. President Biden was seen holding an anti-Israel book while he was shopping in Nantucket, Massachusetts on Friday.
That book is called The 100 Years' War on Palestine, A History of Settler Colonial Conquest and Resistance. It was written by Columbia University Professor Emeritus Rashid Khalidi.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham is giving some insight into President-elect Trump's thoughts on Gaza.
Axios spoke to Graham, and he told the outlet Trump wants a ceasefire in Gaza before he takes office. Graham is quoted as saying, "I want people in Israel and in the region to know that Trump is focused on the hostage issue. He wants the killing to stop and the fighting to end."
It's Fox's Mark Meredith. America's listening to Fox News.
Cynthia's Hallmark's Black Friday deals continue through Monday. Shop local, shop Cynthia's 4 locations filled with beautiful, fun, on-trend gifts for everyone on your list. It's Terry Stacy. Right now, take 25% off everything you can fit in a new, larger bag and one item that's too big for the bag. A few exclusions apply. My mom wants cozy gifts this year, so it's Cynthia's comfort and care items like microwavable slippers, cozy robes, and the lemon lavender personal spa items. A customer favorite is anything from the Life is Good collection. They've got new artists with some cool new graphics. And if you're hosting holiday parties, the Canberry dish with the slice and serve spatula is so fun. You put your canned cranberry in the ceramic textured can serving dish. It's from Mud Pie and it's really popular. Shop family-owned Cynthia's Hallmark this holiday season, celebrating 40 years in January. 116th and Allisonville Road, 116th and Brook School Road, 96th and Lantern Road, and in Greenfield.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. It's the holiday season, a time for family, friends, and staying cozy inside. But if your home is drafty, it's hard to stay comfortable. And with all the gift of giving happening this time of year, why don't you give yourself the gift of lower energy bills with new windows from Universal Windows Direct. At Universal Windows Direct, if you act right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Plus, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments. Now, some restrictions may apply, so call today, 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Don't wait. Make sure your home is ready for the winter and the holidays. Call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574 to schedule your free in-home estimate or visit UWD.com. Universal Windows Direct, UWD.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
The show about gun rights, gun safety, and responsible gun ownership. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I'll tell you what, a whole bunch of people have called. So let's go to the phone lines. And George has called. George, welcome to The Gun Guy Show.
Oh, hi, Guy. Listen, my wife passed back in May, and she had 2 handguns. She had a 44 mag Smith & Wesson revolver, and she also had a Kel-Tec 9 millimeter. They were her guns. I mean, she filled out the paperwork for her background check and everything. I did not at the time, even though I was at the store with her. I am not a prohibited possessor. Where do I stand legally now if I was to want to carry, constitutional carry?
Yeah, no, George, you're fine. There's nothing you need to do. We don't have gun registration in Indiana. And so inheriting a gun from someone, and by the way, I'm very sorry for your loss, the loss of your wife, but legally it's no different than inheriting a couch or a toaster. You just take possession of it, and you don't need to go register it anywhere. We don't have gun registration in Indiana. If you want to carry it, you can carry it under constitutional carry. There are still great reasons to have a license. And if I have time, which is doubtful, I'll go into that. If not, I will here on an upcoming Gun Guy Show. There are good reasons to still have a license, but you can carry a handgun as long as you're not a prohibited possessor, which you already addressed, and you're good to go. No reason to register it or take any other action. You're fine having just inherited them. Let's go back to the phone lines. David has called. David, welcome to the Gun Guy Show.
Yes, I'm like 40 years old, let's say, and my son is 22 years old, and he legally bought a gun. I've seen the receipt. I'm not sure where he bought the gun. Back in 1990, I am a registered felony, and it's in my house, and he showed me the receipt. He bought it legally. He's 21. Like you said, you don't have to have a legalization.
Yeah. Are you concerned that you have some legal liability by the gun being in the house since you have a felony conviction?
Yes.
Yeah. No. And listen, if the gun is accessible to you, and let's say the gun is sitting out on the kitchen table. I'm not suggesting that's where he leaves his gun, but just by way of example, if the gun's sitting out, on the kitchen counter or the table, and let's say the police are called for some reason, you have a break-in, and they come and you're the only one home, there's a gun on the table, and you have a felony conviction, they can charge you with possession of that gun as a felon, and that's up to 10 years in federal prison. And that's because you have accessibility. That gun is accessible to you, and you don't have to have it in your immediate possession, like in your hand or tucked in your waistband, to have possession of it. And there's two kinds of possession in Indiana. There's actual possession and what's called constructive possession, where you have the intent and the capacity to exercise control over the gun. And if you're the only one home, or let's say it was in a vehicle, let's say he drives your car, takes his gun with him, leaves the gun in the car, or you borrow his car and the gun's in the car, you get pulled over. You now possess that gun, especially if you're the only one in the car. They can infer your ability to possess control over that firearm from being in exclusive control of the premises or of the vehicle. So you don't want to have it accessible to you. So if he has a gun safe for instance, there are gun safes out there that you can program for fingerprints. Have him buy a gun safe and have him put only his fingerprints in it, and don't program it for your fingerprints. Don't give you a key. Well, now you don't have access to that gun. The gun's locked up, and yet you're at much less risk. But having a gun in the house that is accessible to you puts you at some risk with a felony conviction. Back to the phone lines, and Sean has called. Sean, welcome to the Gun Guy Show.
Hey, hello.
Yeah, what you got?
We're thinking about going on a cross-country camping trip, and I would like to take my handgun with me just because of how things are nowadays. I got 2 little girls and my wife, and we'd like to go from state park to state park to state park while the kids are young, and we can do online school and stuff. So my only question is can I take it from state to state to state, or what would I have to do to allow that to happen?
Okay, so you want to go across multiple states outside of Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, couple of questions, Sean. First is if you have an Indiana handgun license, you want to make sure that you're going to a state that recognizes the Indiana handgun license. Secondly, if you don't have a handgun license, you can sell there. I think there are 28 states, 29 maybe now, that have constitutional carry, which means you don't have to have a license to carry in that state. And in some states, it's only if you're 21 plus. In fact, most states, you have to be 21 plus to have a handgun in your possession without a license. But separately, just knowing that you can carry legally in a state, either because they recognize your Indiana license or because they have constitutional carry, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You still have to comply with all these other state laws that a lot of states have, whether or not Indiana has that same law. And by the way, Indiana has, I mentioned to an earlier caller, there are good reasons to have a handgun license. One of those reasons is in Indiana, you can possess a handgun in a state park in Indiana, but only if you have a handgun license. The DNR regulation that says you can only carry a handgun in a state park if you have a handgun license, we went to DNR when we were working on constitutional carry in 2022. And we went to them and said, hey, if we pass this constitutional carry, you got to change your regulation to not require a license. If someone's not a prohibited possessor, they ought to be able to legally have a gun in a state park without a license. And DNR, this is all informally, but DNR basically said, no, we kind of like the way our regulation the way it is. And so they did not change the DNR regulation that requires a handgun license in a state park. They did not change it to acknowledge constitutional carry. And that's just Indiana. So going from state to state to state, can you even have a gun in a park in that particular state? Some states may very well say yes. Some states may very well say no. Then there are other things. I mentioned alcohol. Some states, if you're going to have a beer at your campsite, can't be in possession of a firearm if you're consuming alcohol or have any detectable level of alcohol in your blood system. Some states make that a crime, make it a serious crime. So there's a lot of research, unfortunately, again, just knowing that you're legal to have a handgun there through constitutional carry or through reciprocity of licenses, knowing that they respect the Indiana license or that you can otherwise carry, that's just the tip of the iceberg for all the other laws you got to know in whatever state you happen to be traveling to. So to go state to state to state, go to a lot of different parks, for instance, to be honest with you, that just requires a lot of research. Now, I have an app on my phone. It's just called CCW. And if you go look it up on your phone, the Play Store, on an Android or whatever Apple calls theirs, it's like a map of the United States with a handgun over the top of it, and it's got state law summaries. In fact, you can turn on your GPS, give it access, and it'll look up what state you're in, and it'll give you a rundown of their state laws. And it's great, and it updates all the time. It's run by a bunch of lawyers. I also am a big fan of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association reciprocity page that also has state law summaries. So there are places you can go to do the research we're talking about, but unfortunately, it takes a little legwork, takes a little effort to research all those questions before you travel on a trip like that. I haven't done it so much here in recent years, but for years and years and years, most of my adult life, I'd go on really long motorcycle trips. And in fact, I've been to all 48 of continental states, of the continental U.S., on a motorcycle. And there are times when I would pull over to a rest stop just before I'd cross state lines and sit down and look at my phone or pull out whatever reference I was using, depending on the time frame, and make sure that I knew what the laws were of the state I was going into. So that's the long-winded answer to that question. I'll tell you what, we're at the 3/4 hours, time to take a break. We still got a couple of people on hold. We'll go back to the phone lines and address the question I raised. What about drinking and gun possession here around the holidays or any other time? We'll go into that and continue to take your calls. 317-239-9393. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
No matter where you head on your commute, Matt Bear is there. Paris.
Les Champs-Élysées sont un véritable parking ce matin.
Warsaw.
W drodze do pracy, wyjdź trochę wcześniej.
Or Brazil.
Temos bisbilhotice no Rio de Janeiro. Não haja como turista.
Matt, these are all cities in Indiana.
Oh, that makes my job easier.
Making your commute easier. Matt Bear Traffic. Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for Tactical Firearms Training. Our most popular class is our Essentials of Indiana Gun Law class. And you can actually buy that now as a holiday present. If you want to give a loved one, family member, buddy, whatever it might be, the gift of 5 hours of legal education on the most important things an Indiana gun owner needs to know in terms of the laws here in Indiana, both state and federal, that affect us as Indiana gun owners. You can do that. Gift certificates are available. We've got a class coming up Saturday, January 25th, so not too far after the holidays. Saturday, January 25 is going to be at Indy Arms Company. On Saturday, June 25, 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. It's $50 for an individual, $95 for couples. Or if you'd rather go to Avon, out at Parabellum Firearms and Indoor Range in Avon, we're going to have a course on Saturday, March 15th. Also from 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Also $50 for an individual, $95 for couples. We'd love to see you there. You can sign up right online. Go to tactical-firearms.com. Just click on upcoming courses at tactical-firearms.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for a deal that can't be beat, get over to the friendliest folks you'll ever meet at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield with Black Friday deals running all month long. Now's the time to save big or let them come to you. With Ford Mobile Service, expert maintenance is just a call away, so you can put more time back in your day. Get it, Andy Moore? More time? Schedule your service easily through the Ford Pass app and get oil changes, tire rotations, and more right at your doorstep. And check out the selection. Head down to Andy Moore Ford and explore top picks like the rugged Ford Bronco and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. Trust me on the Lightning. These things are fantastic. Seating for up to 5, intelligent backup power, onboard power for all your tools and gear. This all-electric truck is built for adventure, work, and everything in between. Shop Black Friday deals now at AndyMooreFord.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R. AndyMooreFord.com.
JMV here. This holiday season, you must visit Miss M's Home and Garden for great holiday gifts and decor. Come shop for fresh-cut trees, wreaths, garland, and greenery for outside decorating. If you have plant lovers in the family, Miss M's has a magnificent selection of houseplants that make great gifts. Now through December the 23rd, houseplants are 20% off. Miss M's Home and Garden wants to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Miss M's is located on State Road 135, south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they're saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for what is going to be our last segment here. We're stopping at 6 for the IHSAA playoffs. But we got another caller that's been on hold, and Rick, I believe, has called in. Rick, welcome to the Gun Guy Show.
How do, sir? My question is, my son is in the military, and he's stationed right now in the Army at Washington State. Now, I'm retired military, and we both just collect and enjoy firearms. With him being out of state, I have his firearms in my house. If I were to use one of his firearms and something were to happen, God forbid, somebody comes in the house and tries to do something, or if I'm out and I happen to be carrying one of his, is he responsible or liable for anything?
No. No. I mean, unless he's transferred a gun to you and you're a prohibited possessor, and obviously you're not, something along those lines, no, not at all. Because, again, we don't have gun registration in Indiana. And there's a big misconception about this. People think that because I go in, for instance, and I fill out the paperwork in the gun store, that gun is now registered to me, quote unquote. It's not. The gun store has to keep that 4473 form that I fill out in the gun store, and they have to keep it. I've heard 20, I've heard 25, and then somebody contacted me and said, no, it's forever, which I don't think is true. But at any rate, the gun store has to keep that record for a long time. But that gun is not registered to me. There's just a record that I was the original purchaser. And I can give that gun away if I want to, as long as I'm not giving it to a prohibited possessor. I can gift it. I can sell it. Again, as long as I don't knowingly transfer it to a prohibited possessor. So They may be his guns in the sense that he purchased them originally. When he comes home, he can take possession of them, do whatever he wants to with them. But legally, there's no association between him and those guns other than the fact that he was the original purchaser. So to directly answer your question, if you had a break-in and used one of those guns to defend your home, defend yourself, defend your family, there's no issue whatsoever with respect to the fact that he was the original purchaser. That would only be different if they were, for instance, if they were NFA firearms. So if it's a machine gun or a short-barreled rifle or a short-barreled shotgun or a suppressor on a firearm, those are all registered to an individual unless they're registered to a corporation or a trust. And if it's registered to an individual, unlike a normal handgun, rifle, shotgun, and an NFA firearm is registered to an individual, and only that individual can possess that firearm. But if it's not an NFA item, what we call a Class 3 item, no harm, no foul, you're good to go. So to quickly answer the question that I posed at the bottom of the hour, what if you're home, you're enjoying several cocktails with family, and you have a break-in, and you're over the legal limit, you're intoxicated? Do you lose the right to defend yourself? Listen, in several states, including, states that people consider to be very gun-friendly. People always want to talk about Texas for some reason. Oh, yeah, Texas, they got the best gun laws. Oh, hell no. I wouldn't trade our laws with Texas gun laws ever. Because, for instance, if you have any legal level of alcohol in your system in Texas and you're in possession of a firearm, you're committing a crime. We don't have that law in Indiana. And you don't lose your ability to defend your home, defend your life, to act in otherwise justifiable self-defense because you've been drinking or even because you're intoxicated. Now, one of the basic rules of gun safety is to never handle firearms if you've been using alcohol or recreational drugs or any drug that impairs your ability to function and to think. And if you're intoxicated, is there a greater likelihood you're going to do something knuckleheaded with a gun? Well, of course. And if you do something knuckleheaded, you endanger someone, you hurt someone recklessly, for instance, that's its own crime. But the basic point that just because you've been drinking or you're even intoxicated, in Indiana, you do not lose your ability to defend your life, defend your home, or act in otherwise justifiable self-defense. Answer to that question. We hope you enjoyed the show. It was a short one, but we'll be back next week. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles, the best warranty around. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality